Space Podcast. It's about connections. I'm your host, Dr. Ritch Hall, and this is a weekly conversation about whatever and however I see to connect things. For people who want to connect, chat, and learn a thing or two about a thing or two. Without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back to the Hall Space Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ritch Hall, and I'm here with my lovely and capable wife.
Hey there, Nicole Hall.
Yes, and this is the end of the year episode, the Christmas
/ New Year's Eve
Hall Space Podcast extravaganza special episode.
Circa 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because what would be 2020 without a little bit of specialness here at the end?
Yeah.
Let's
wrap it up, B. Let's wrap it up 2020.
It up, B.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be done with you, and 2021 is going to be a new year. It's gonna be great.
Yes. I've seen a lot of people, one of my bosses sent out an email like 2020 is the year of renewal. And I can agree with that. I'm hopeful, to say the least.
Yes,
that 2021 will be an opportunity to reconnect with people, renew some faith that has been dashed in 2020 for certain.
It's been squashed.
Yes, some things that
mashed
2020 was
into the
definitely
ground.
not what anybody thought it was going to be when we were going into it last year.
No idea.
This has not been the year we assumed we'd be walking out of.
We've
right now
lost a lot.
Yes, a lot has changed.
A lot has changed, but we've also gained a lot too. So we're trying to keep the perspective.
And I mean, I would say, and we've said this before in this medium that it hasn't been as bad for us as I know it has for other people.
Correct. We have been highly favored and blessed and able to kind of continue a similar lifestyle for the most part.
Yeah, significant limitations, but not completely inconvenienced. Nothing
like the people who have to decide: am I going to work? Am I going to expose myself to COVID?
Right.
Where am I going to put my kids? All that kind of stuff.
We are not facing those challenges.
No, I mean we had to make decisions on how that would work, but nothing like
some
a lot of people
might be facing.
And God bless those people, and I really hope that they get the help and support that they need to get through this. And I honestly believe that we could change to accommodate those people, because a lot of them are people that keep the economy going. They're the people that we consider essential.
Yes.
So pay them
people,
essential
that
pay.
Need to be paid essential
give
pay.
Them essential health care. Give them essential time off.
Essential child care.
I was going to say essential daycare. Like help them do the job that they're doing. That's so important.
I think one of the problems is that, one of the reasons that we haven't gotten nearly as many accommodations is, we are two Americas right now. So there's a big widening of the disparity between the have and the have-nots.
The gap is getting bigger and bigger.
With that gap getting bigger, all the people who make decisions, they're all rich people. And for them,
and they're
it's
not
just
affected.
been inconvenient.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like having to make
they can't leave their house.
Choices.
That's it for them. But everybody else is like, not only do I have to leave my house, I have to determine if I'm going to get exposed or not. Yeah. And if I get exposed,
you have to risk it.
Do I get kicked out of my apartment, and does my baby get taken from me? Like, that's.
So there's a lot of people living on that razor's edge, if not, feeling completely, underserved. And so the people in charge, I mean, billionaires have been making more money than ever. So why would they ever influence change when they're sitting pretty?
They're not invested in the same way.
Whereas a lot of other people are not necessarily that blessed. And
correct.
As a result, they're wondering why the higher ups aren't making any changes. And I said this months ago. I knew going into December after the election that it was just going to get worse.
Yeah.
I mean, we're up to, 300,000 a day now. And I'm sorry, 300,000 dead, up to 3,000 a day, people getting it, people dying almost every 30 seconds.
It's lot.
Crazy. Hospitals are completely overwhelmed. I mean, we went from clapping in the streets for nurses and doctors to not trusting them to now,
and now,
we're just exhausting those people, and there are not enough of them.
No,
we've had a nursing shortage for a number of years,
and we never give them the support that they need in order to do their job effectively.
Yeah. So,
and they're exhausted.
They're
tired.
They would have to be exhausted,
and they're exposed on a regular basis, and they go and they get up every day to do that job.
Right.
And something's got to be said for people that are doing that are willing to do that, and that are willing to continue to do that. Yeah,
absolutely.
And there's also something to be said for the billionaires who don't care.
Right. Or who say they care but really don't practice it. It's easy to say, like, no. I prefer for people to be, taken care of, whatever. But then
but what kind of change can you affect?
Right. So, vaccine, people are starting getting vaccinated.
Yeah, we're seeing that.
That's kind of
over.
awesome. There's a possibility I could get a vaccine through my job. So
yeah, because I'm considered
essential. I'm also aware of the meme that I put on my Facebook a couple days ago where it's like, it's a cat that's stuck behind a thing. Oh, yeah. And then it's like Pfizer's. The cat is
the cat is stuck.
People enjoying
working in their sweatpants.
And then Pfizer's coming and dragging them out so that they have to come out into public.
And the cat's like, no.
Yeah. I'm fully aware that that means I'll have to see clients in face to face again, and there won't be an argument over whether or not I'll be able to work from home and or avoid contact with people. And I am smart enough to know that it's still going to be months and months and months before the general public has been inoculated to the point of being able to get outside and go. And we still don't know.
Your life.
The UK is already talking about they have a different strain of COVID. So it's a virus, it mutates. So we could inoculate everybody, but still you get one with a different RNA, and now you have to get another inoculation. We don't know.
Just like the flu and SARS and all these other kind of viruses.
Yeah. Oh my God. God. For a second, I'm going to rant. But all those people who've been posting.
You've been wanting to say this for a while. It's like,
please stop posting that meme.
We have a vaccine.
We don't have a vaccine.
But we don't have a cure for cancer.
Yeah, we don't have a vaccine for cancer. Cancer is not viral. There are some cancers that can be attributed to viruses like HPV, right? Which does have a vaccine for it. So you can't say that because science has failed to create a vaccination for cancer, which is actually a proliferation of cancerous cells and not a viral infection that causes a proliferation of viruses. Completely different thing. So every time I see that meme, I flip
it drives
out
you crazy.
at the bad science. We don't have a vaccine for the cold. Well, technically what we call the cold is like 200 different viruses that are literally around us all the time. So it's very hard to inoculate. You'd have to take 200 different vaccines.
Well, and honestly,
to be vaccinated for the common cold.
For a good population won't kill you.
The cold will not kill the majority of the population.
The majority of the population, which is what we have to consider, right?
The body pretty quickly responds to the cold, right?
Yes.
Or to a cold. Your body creates antibodies pretty quickly to the cold. So most people don't get a cold for months and months on end. They're not getting full-on pneumonic. It's rare that you get pneumonia from a cold.
Yep.
Right? That's the difference between this and this COVID, and a cold.
Yep.
Plus, there's like one virus that's causing COVID that we know of right now.
Right.
Whereas, like I said, 200 different viruses fall into the what we call the common cold.
Right.
And, and one of the good things is our body, a majority of people's bodies can create antibodies for COVID, which is why you're able to inoculate. Right. There are certain things that, like bacterial infections.
Right.
Bacterial infections, you can use antibiotics because then your body just creates the stuff inside to wash out. It's like it's essentially kind of. I'm going to simplify to say
the difference between the two.
Yes,
and you can't take one type of medicine for the other.
Right.
So, for example, for a bacterial infection, you have to take an antibiotic.
Yes.
Whereas with the cold, you could take over-the-counter stuff.
You take over-the-counter to handle the symptoms, but you just have to wait on your body's natural immune response.
It's going to do what it does.
Take care of the cold.
Yep.
And and the reason we can rely on that is because it doesn't necessarily kill a majority of the population, right?
Right.
So it's just let your body get through it, let your body fight it off, and then you'll be fine. But you might catch another cold a year later because your a different virus enters your body.
Yeah.
And there are 200 of them. So they're mutating. There are all kinds of different things
strains,
that are happening.
Different versions of it.
Cancer is not a thing that your body can generally fight on its own. You have to bring in things that stop your cells from
and if I sneeze on you, you're not going to get the cancer.
Cancer is not contagious.
It's not contagious.
As far as we know.
If we go out into the world right now and someone breathes on you and they have the COVID, you've got the COVID too now.
You're very likely to get the COVID
people
because it's highly
that you're
contagious.
around. Yes. Cancer is a completely different.
So those memes.
Listen, y'all, if you want to get Richie riled up,
just say bad science at me.
Bad science. And tell them the world is flat, y'all.
Oh my God. You're seriously the fact that people want to die on that hill is baffling to me because it's like, how? How, Sway? How? You obviously don't have the answers. And what frustrates me the most about it.
For cancer.
What frustrates me the most about it is to explain this to you is to have to explain basic epidemiology. And the fact that you're confident in your ignorance.
It's what chaps you more.
Oh my God. There is a particular type of bias that is the less you know about a thing.
Yeah.
The more likely you're to feel confident that you know the answers.
Yeah.
To simplify it, essentially.
So anti-vaxxers would drive you.
Oh yeah, they do. They typically do. I mean, here's the thing. I kind of understand the reservations and when there was the concern that they cause autism. Essentially the idea that vaccines were ruining kids, also not true. But it's this, science has gotten so good that we can question it because we don't understand it. It's gone leaps and bounds beyond what we understand to be normal.
But isn't that the human nature?
Human nature is so
question
we think we're such smart
understand.
Creatures.
We're not.
But we don't know very much.
We do not. And what we don't understand, we're afraid of.
And knowledge has gotten so specialized at this point that only certain people have the keys to certain types of knowledge. And I say that as a person who literally has studied some things so in depth that if you ask me a question, and this happens with my wife a lot, she will ask me a question about a simple mental health thing. And then I'll go, well, I mean, under this circumstance, this could be that. But under that circumstance, it could be that. So it's really hard to just say what's going on here because there's a variety of different factors that you'd have to understand in order for me to give
there's all this
any one answer. There's no one answer.
Yeah, yeah.
And so my head just goes in all the directions and comes back with, simply, yeah, maybe. But, let's say 75% chance that could happen, 25% chance this could happen.
It's gray. It's 5%. Never black and white.
Because when you understand something to a nuanced and deeply researched degree, you understand you only know about as much as you know until you don't know a thing. Yeah. And that circumstance could sort of send you spinning into another direction.
Yep.
And the specialized knowledge allows you to explain that direction. But it doesn't mean that you are good at predicting. And most people assume science equals prediction. And that's what we love about science is that we are able to study something so much that we can make
that you can
predictive
follow.
Probabilities. But we don't actually know. Even gravity only works under certain circumstances.
Right.
Literally within this zone of the earth, this is how the gravity that you understand it. If you lift a pin and drop it, it does that. But if you go up several 100,000 feet, a couple miles into the air,
reacts differently.
Different circumstance, different context, different outcomes.
Yeah.
So, most people think, no, facts are facts and they're hard. And it's like, no, not really. With most phenomenon.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to put things in a box.
It'd be lovely if you could, because it's easier, right? Humans love their boxes. They love to simplify information. But please stop saying that dumb shit. I'm sorry. Please stop saying that dumb stuff about cancer not having a vaccine. It's impossible. There are multiple different types of things that are cancer. So once again, you can't just
cancer
vaccinate.
Can be created from a virus, but cancer is not in and of itself.
It isn't even created from a virus. It's just the presence of a virus tends to parallel with certain types of cancers. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily created by the virus. It's just you know what I mean? It's correlation is not causation. But if you inoculate for this viral infection, then you're less likely to get that type of cancer.
No, I'll give you that.
Right? Once again, specialized knowledge means it's harder to explain, and people don't like these long, lengthy, scientific egghead explanations. Well, actually,
are you still talking about this virus?
I am still talking about this virus thing. It keeps coming up in my timeline, and I'm sick of it. Sick. Ugh.
Y'all see how riled up he is?
I get very riled up about anti-science.
Well, and this meme just
It would not die.
It won't die.
Funny thing about the internet, like there'll be things I've seen like a month ago or a couple weeks ago, and you just sort of watch a piece of information, particularly bad information.
Yeah.
It's like a game of telephone. You just watch it slowly but surely work its way up a chain.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, this is coming around in this person's feed. And now a couple days later, this person has reposted it. And a month later, this has reposted it. And the Facebook algorithm does not help because it keeps putting, you know, you'll see a post from like a week ago, a month ago.
Accurate or no, it just gets it.
They're
out.
getting a little bit better. I appreciate that they moved to you know, sometimes giving you flags.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of flags about the election. Like, this might be false information. Would you like to know who really won the election?
Yeah. Because
apparently we have to argue that. Yeah. Which is so insane.
I mean, math is math, right? Like, I don't understand.
No, it's not math. Actually, so it's going to be great. I'm gonna enjoy, you know, when my kids go to college and they've written in the history book about what's happened in the 2020, and I'm going to enjoy reading that section of the history book.
The funniest thing I saw the other day, there's a movie called Tommy Boy, and it's got Chris Farley in it, and one of the scenes is he's trying to sell brake pads to this company.
Yeah,
and he's got this, you know, he's in there, this guy's office, he's got this toy car, and I don't know how he gets the fire. But he's like, yeah, we're going along. And he crashes the car, and then it's fire, and it's all this kind of, you know, catastrophic stuff that happens. And he's like, oh, but if you have our brake pads, and it won't do that, you know. And people were saying this is how they're going to describe 2020.
Yes.
And it's like,
very much so.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we're going to be at, you know, the older we get, you know, we'll be the people that are like, we lived through 2020.
Yeah. Like our grandkids, they'll be like, so what was it like in 2020?
What was it like in 2020? You know, just like Ra asked about World War II and Vietnam and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun. And that in and of itself gives me comfort, right? You know, there's things that the Lord has gotten us through.
Yeah.
Time and time again. And so this will be, you know, another one of those things that we get through. The faster, the better, though.
Yes.
Because I need to go to the beach.
Okay.
It's all.
But I mean, I'm glad. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, there are people who are. There's a lot of controversy about people taking the vaccine. So, and it'll take a while. So it's not likely that it'll get distributed by the summer.
No, and there are some people that are like, if you watch the video, he didn't really even get stuck by the vaccine. It's like they're like, if there's anything else that
another problem with the human mind, just because you can conceive something doesn't mean it's really happening.
Yeah,
perception is very limited, and we would like to think that video is an absolute certainty, but I mean, in reality, there's a variety of things about even video perception. The perception of how you're watching a video doesn't mean that something's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think there's a reason for the mistrust, and I think time could be spent helping people to better be trusting of institutions.
Let me just let me just say this. The people that are so incredibly distrustful are people that have never been subject to the lies that could be, attributed to the country, right? They're essentially, these are people, Black people we've been experimented on forever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the Black people are very mistrusting of this.
We are, but it's also white people.
Yeah.
Who've
not had very many conspiracies. Working against them.
They have no actual true facts.
I mean, but white people have been scared of a lot. I mean, that's why the racism is utter abject fear of an uncontrollable world and an attempt to wrestle it into dominion.
But as we've discussed multiple times, this is no different than chickenpox or polio or all these other sort of things that once we learned about it and what we could do to combat it.
All those things came with hysteria.
It did. It did. And it took a number of years to trust it and to really embrace it.
Right.
So, I mean, this is no different.
Yeah, except that what's interesting is we live in an age where there is the opportunity for the populace to be more educated, even though they aren't.
Even though they aren't.
Yes.
They refuse.
Yes.
Churlish and insubordinate.
Right.
Okay.
Right. This wasn't what we were supposed to be talking about. We spent 15 minutes on this. And we were supposed to move towards talking about Christmas.
It's the holiday season, right?
The holiday season. We are Judeo-Christian household. Mm-hmm. So for us, this time is about Christmas, with a little bit of Kwanzaa thrown in. There are the people who celebrate a variety of other things. Shout out to our brothers celebrating Hanukkah.
That's right.
Ramadan, and all the other winter holidays. We greatly value your contributions to society and to our world. But for me and my house, it's about Christmas. And we have many Christmas traditions, but some of those traditions have to change this year.
Correct.
And I understand that for many of you out there, they'll be changing as well.
When they should.
Yeah. And so what we'd like to do is just talk a little bit about what's some good ideas for Christmas activities that you can do and ways that you can celebrate, and ways in which we've celebrated in the past. Like I said, which does have to change.
Some of those things will have to change. Yeah.
We have a pretty solid Christmas tradition.
We do.
Well, it's funny because like with us and our kids, just me, Nicole, and the kids, we don't really have like a lot of traditions for just us.
No.
We have them in my larger family with my mom and my siblings.
Yeah.
We have that Christmas day, but like we haven't set a specific, this is what's going to happen on Christmas every time.
No.
For the most part, I mean, I may be speaking too glibly. Like Nicole makes cookies, so the kids do get to set the cookies out for Santa.
They do.
And they take that very seriously.
They do. And they write letters to Santa and we leave it out at night.
We did not actually teach them about Santa. They brought that in from school.
Absolutely. Because we weren't sure how we were going to do.
Like, do we tell them about Santa? Do we tell them this white man solving their Christmas-related problems?
This fat white guy is coming through our chimney.
Right. Breaking and entering.
Exactly. Taking credit for the stuff
that we bought and paid for with our hard-earned money.
Honestly, I wasn't sure about it. I think there was a time there I was staunchly against it, but there's such an innocence about
there's a magic to it you don't want to take from them.
That they come to you about it that you just don't want to disrupt.
Yeah. And Richie's definitely at the age now at 10. He's like, so you can tell me, is Santa not real?
He said it. He's like, he says it sometimes and I'm like, stop ruining it for your sister, who's 6.
Yeah.
And he's like, why would I ever do that to her? I would never do that. Santa is real. Yes, Santa is real. He's 10.
But he's still trying to discern 8. That. There's something going on here that I don't understand.
Yeah, he can pick up on, I see you guys coming home with these Amazon boxes. So,
which has been hard. So in quarantine, I will tell you that our Amazon has gone up like triple.
Oh my gosh.
There was one year where we only bought like 50 things from Amazon. That was just 3 years ago.
And now,
so far this year, we have bought like 300 different items from Amazon have come in.
Oh, is that what the number is?
Yeah, it was up to 300 right before Christmas packages started coming in this week.
Well, and I had to have a talk with each kid to say, hey, listen.
You need to stop opening these boxes.
Don't open none of the Amazons.
They were just opening random boxes because random things were coming in all the time.
Always order Amazon stuff.
Right.
All throughout the year, we give Bezos
once we went
money.
into quarantine, it was like, well, okay, Amazon is an easy way to get things shipped to the house.
And we don't have to go out to get that stuff. And so it's like, hey, listen, guys, all the Amazon boxes come to me. Okay?
Yeah, do not open. Because they were just ripping things open like, this is for you, Daddy.
Oh, here's your spatula.
Right.
Stop opening stuff.
So we've had to make some changes and amend some policies around
our
Amazon boxes.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it's a little different now, but
they're also at the age where we get so much stuff for them, but we have to hide it.
Yeah.
Because they're nosy.
Yes, they're nosy, particularly that Daniel. He will toss your stuff and then be like, why do you have this in here?
What is this? Get out of my drawers, boy.
Right. Homie, you don't know me like that. You're all up in my drawers and whatnot, snooping.
Right.
So I work with a lot of kids who their parents have been like, they're stealing.
It's an invasion of my privacy.
And, because we tend to have kind of upper middle class values in some ways, it's like, they're not really stealing those snacks. They're just hungry. But in that, it's like, wait, I do need you to like respect these boundaries and limits. Like,
they don't know those boundaries unless you set them.
Right. And we're very laissez-faire about that. The house is their space too, so they should be.
We all live in this house together, and we're
trying to survive a quarantine together.
We are. So my stuff is your stuff is our stuff.
Right. But they do have to be boundaries.
We do.
Because one day they are going to be roommates. Like, I'm often thinking in terms of like, how are they going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now?
Right. When they're living in a dorm or they're working.
And you can't just be going to your roommate's drawer and eating snacks, no matter how much he pissed you off.
Those are
one
not
time.
your
Those
snacks.
are not your snacks. And he's going to be very upset when he finds out you ate all of his whatchamacallits.
So that
story's not personal.
At all.
Yeah.
I mean, you had heard.
I had heard there was a guy once who ate all of his friends' whatchamacallits.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds.
He had a Sam's box of whatchamacallits. I mean, don't tell me where they are.
Right.
And then say get one whenever you want.
And then be mad when you get one whenever you want.
Especially since you kicked me out of my room when I had to study for an exam because you wanted to sleep with your girlfriend.
You put a sock on the door. Yeah. Right. Do not enter.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat your whatchamacallits all weekend while you're staying at your girlfriend's house. That's what I'm going to do.
And I'm sitting in the lounge trying to sleep.
Right. Dorm life.
Oh my gosh. We have all been kicked out of the dorms.
Taking it back. To the dorm days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before the 2000s.
There was a joke on Kev on stage where I'm gonna try to make this joke as tastefully as possible. Where she was like, I couldn't be hoeing out now because it would go viral. She said, but if you wanted to catch a video of me doing something bad, you'd have to find a VHS tape in somebody's attic between an episode of Martin
and Living Single.
With tapes Mark Martin and Living Single. It's a really good thing that some of our antics happened long before people were carrying cameras in their phones.
And we are definitely of the generation where we used to record stuff on VHS. And sometimes it would be, Martin, and sometimes it would be
any number of things.
BET at 2 a.m.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But I love the specificity of that joke because it genuinely spoke to my life.
Hit you right in the center.
Yeah. Like, oh, no. That's some stuff
that's
I would definitely understand. So
I had a color code.
You had a color code on your videos?
Code. I did.
Look at you.
I did.
But so yeah. I didn't got way off track now. What was I talking about? We were talking about the kids and keeping them
Christmas, keeping them innocent,
keeping them hidden from, keeping gifts hidden from them.
Keeping the gifts, yeah.
Because we're definitely not those wrap the gifts early and start putting them under the tree because that just creates so much conversation.
Bruh.
I don't feel like dealing with.
No. And, honestly.
I don't want you to ask me what's in this box and now you're jumping and shaking it around. I'm like, that could be glass.
Right. You have no idea. Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's just be honest. We're still getting stuff for Christmas right now.
Yeah, we're still collecting Christmas things.
Okay. And we always pull it out every year.
Yeah, but there's always that sense of anxiety the last couple of weeks because oh shoot, Christmas is really showing up next week.
It's on Friday.
Yeah. Christmas is like a visit from your boss. It's like,
oh,
he really is coming into town this week.
Man,
we need to get our stuff together. I gotta
iron my pants and clean my desk.
Right. Right. We might need to straighten some stuff up around here.
Oh man,
because this is horrible. He can't be seen. We live like this.
Yeah, Target ruined your whole Christmas. Man. I'm mad. I'm still mad about that. Just
if only you had better prepared.
If maybe a month ago when
we knew. I mean, it wasn't like we never know. We do this every year.
Christmas comes the same.
We
time
have the same well of anxiety that just builds to a peak every year.
And honestly, if we said in September, every time you see something that you like.
There was 1 year where I got everything online. That was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was done like right after Thanksgiving. There was 1 year. There was like maybe 1 or 2 things I still needed to get.
What year was that?
That was like 3 or 4 years ago. But
I was going to say, was it before the kid? Less kids? Yeah.
And just
had to have been.
Yeah, but I do remember like we should just buy online every year because it was way easier. But then what happened was I got lazy. Like, I can buy online and 2-day shipping. So I'll just get it when I get it.
So I'll just wait.
And now we're like 4 days away from Christmas and I'm like, oh, shoot. I got a couple more things I got to get. I don't want to, like, I'm not going to the mall. I thought about that today. Like, I might have to go to the mall and grab some things.
That's what we used to do, though. We used to go.
This is the time. You go.
We
would
go to Northgate or we would go to Kenwood and we get everything for everybody.
And I used to, Christmas shopping for me was literally just wandering through stores until something jumped out at me. that I was like, this is perfect for my sister. She'll love this scarf.
Yep.
Nicole will like this.
This will be great for Brad. Yeah.
But can't do that anymore, and haven't had the time to do it as much over the past few years. So usually it's like trolling through Amazon lists.
Different now.
Yeah. And this year definitely different because I'm not going to be wandering around amongst the people looking for items so that I can get sick. Nope.
Yeah, that's just that feel. Yeah.
Wrong.
Well, because we've kept our COVID circle very tight.
Yeah, for the most part,
and we've
as tight as we can,
and we've done pretty well with that. And that would be the one thing that would take our circle out, right? Like one of us goes out and we're like going to go to Kenwood, and someone breathes on us, and we come back, and our whole circle is out for January and February. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the bigger concerns.
Yeah.
So if you can get your stuff shipped to you, get it shipped. And, honestly, for the adults, if it doesn't come until later, you'll be fine. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, for those of us who are late, like us,
your
bike will come, but it won't come until January 4th.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
it's going to be cold. You can't ride a bike outside anyway.
No, but they said they had it.
The last 3 years, we've always said, we're going to get the kids bikes for Christmas, and then completely get to the point where it's almost Christmas, and it's like, oh, no, we didn't do that thing.
Everybody, listen, here's what I've discovered. Everybody's buying bikes at Christmas.
Well, yeah, because we're all hoping we get to go outside.
Right.
And it's a typical good Christmas gift.
And so I found your gift, and they're like, yeah, oh, no, we got you. We got you. I got multiple messages. And then, and then they get to the store and they're like, oh no.
So yeah, it's okay.
Now I'm back to zero.
It's okay.
Makes me mad.
There's still time.
I know.
Pull it out the fire, as we have every year. So a whole family Christmas is literally watching the anxiety build up until like 2 or 3 days before Christmas, and then finally,
realizing we're stressing out over nothing.
Yeah, and then being up late Christmas Eve making presents. But the problem is that this year, Bridget, my sister, is doing a birthday party for her daughters, for the twins, and so that means that we have to like figure out another time because we're going to go do that. And if we leave, if we leave that at a reasonable time, which we never do.
We never, ever do.
Then we could stay up and make...
We shut it down.
We tend to stay around till like 10, 11 o'clock. Yeah. But if we leave at a reasonable time, we could still come back and wrap gifts.
We never leave a hall party at a reasonable time. We never leave a hall party
at a reasonable time. Because for us, a reasonable time is like 11, almost midnight.
Midnight,
like, oh my God,
1
it's so
o'clock.
late.
Oh no, what time is it? Yeah.
We got to Bridget's at 6 and we were there till 11.
12 last night?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, we have the parties that we have. You have enough time to take a nap, wake up, eat some more. Like it's what we do, Yeah.
It
feels good. So
yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's some of our Christmas tradition. As I said, I think I got way off track, but it's typically, we wake up, we usually do a breakfast of some kind.
Yep. You always do a Christmas breakfast, and
I do usually do a Christmas breakfast.
Whoever's hosting it, we always try to do brunch for dinner.
Yeah.
For the Christmas dinner.
Our Christmassy brunch dinner.
Yeah.
But when we did have kids, we'd open the presents way late. But now that we have kids, like they're not going to stand for that. They would literally have aneurysms.
They boycott. Yeah.
So we try to get the gift part out of the way first. We always read the Bible story.
That's a big tradition.
That's a big tradition in the Hall house.
I was so proud. It was Ra's turn last year, and I think maybe we'll have Daniel do it this year.
Yeah, he got mostly through it. Each kid rotates.
Yep. And once they learn to read, that's what you do.
Yeah. And so you gotta sit through a kid reading. They were in the manger, and wrapped in swaddling clothes.
So here's the thing: the Hall family, and when I say Hall family, I mean Richie, his brother Addison, his sister Bridget, and mom and dad, the Cincinnati Halls. They've had this tradition forever, and one of the funniest things that happens when they're reading the Christmas story, if you're familiar with it at all, there's a part in the scripture that says,
and they were sore afraid. And so it's like the person who reads it says it,
and everybody says they're sore afraid. Sore afraid.
Yeah.
Sore afraid.
Yeah, because we just thought it was so funny when we were kids.
Oh my God. And it tickles me every year. Yeah, because who says they're so afraid?
And so there are a couple punch moments where when we get around to that, everybody, everybody repeats it because we have it memorized.
Yep.
And so
I think all three of you guys have the Christmas story memorized because it's the same scripture every year.
Same scripture every year for our entire lives. So for 40 years, we've been reading that same scripture.
Matthew?
Luke. Yeah.
Okay.
It's from Luke. So that's our big family tradition. We do that every year. But this year, people are gonna have to find some new traditions. So when we come back from the break, we'll talk about some options for new Christmas family traditions you can bring to your life.
That'll be just as
maybe
good,
help
right?
you get through the holiday this year.
Yep.
And so we'll pause for the cause. We'll be right back.
See you soon.
So let me tell you about Anchor Podcast. It's the podcasting service that I use. Anchor.fm is the easiest way to make a podcast, and there are many different reasons why, but foremost is it's free. So you don't need to go out and buy a whole bunch of equipment. If you have a phone or a computer and a microphone, you can record and edit your podcast right on your phone or computer. So that's one major benefit, as well as the fact that they'll distribute your podcast to several different podcasting sites for you. Not only can your podcast be found on Anchor, it can also be found on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast as well. So you don't have to worry about going to all those different sites and setting yourself up. They'll do it for you. You can also make some money on your podcast. Say you have a podcast that only 5 people listen to on a regular basis. They don't limit you on how many subscribers you have to have in order to be able to make a little bit of change for your podcast to keep yourself going. So pretty much everything you need to start a podcast can be found at Anchor.fm. So go download the app either in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, or go to Anchor.fm to get started. And I guarantee you, it'll make things so much easier for you, like it has for me. And we're back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Hall Space Podcast. Dr. Ritch Hall, your host for the day, for the hour. Lovely and capable wife at my side, my co-pilot.
Nicole Hall. Hey there.
Co-pilot in this thing called life.
Yeah.
And we are talking about Christmas.
Christmas traditions.
We talk a little bit about some of our Christmas traditions. And how maybe you could find some Christmas traditions as well.
And adjust them to this whole, sort of
quarantine lifestyle.
COVID. Yeah.
Because the numbers are too darn high.
Yeah.
And so we got to do something to kind of keep ourselves from spreading more.
Yeah.
And I know we saw spikes after Thanksgiving, so I'm pretty sure Christmas even more so.
Yeah.
I think the other side of that is, there are a lot of people who might not have anybody to see or go talk to.
Or visit with.
So if you know some people in your life who don't have family or a lot of friends, you might want to reach out to them as well and check on them, sending them a phone call or an email.
Yeah, by reaching out. Yeah, I was going to say by reaching out, you mean, maybe a video chat or a phone call. Or, Yeah. Because that's the best, safest thing that you can do.
Write a letter.
At this point. Yeah.
I know we've gotten a few Christmas cards this year.
We have. We have.
A lot of people have hit me up saying they're sending Christmas cards. So we'll be,
we
excited
love those.
to get those. Always say we're going to do it, and then
and we just
having so many kids makes it hard to sit down and remember.
It does. But if you send us a Christmas card or a Christmas pic, you absolutely end up on the Hall family refrigerator.
Yes. You
make it.
You are on display for over the year. We forget to take them down.
We do. And Ron. So I'd like to shout out the Murrays, Pops and Miss Minnie. We got their card and they're on the refrigerator. And then Ron and Lonnie Jackson and their beautiful twins. They're also on the refrigerator. And I'm specifically shouting them out because to get to a place, take the pictures, put the pictures in an envelope, put a
Right.
stamp on it, and mail it.
Right.
Is a thing, okay?
Right. It's a lot of work these days.
It is a lot
Multiple
of work.
administrative tasks have to be
There are
accomplished.
a ton of
in the
them
middle of a quarantine.
that I have not,
Not had the bandwidth for this year.
I don't have the bandwidth this year.
Mm-hmm.
We would love to. And actually, my uncle asked for a family picture today, to take with them.
Yeah.
And it's like, we have them, but getting them printed and then getting them, to you in a printed format is a whole.
Yeah. We'll have to work
thing.
on that. We don't have any current. We haven't taken a family picture this year, really.
We have
Since
not.
We did the one in with my grandmother.
We did
February.
one in February.
Was it February or January? Late January, February.
Late January, because her birthday is the 30th.
That was her 6th month.
That's right.
No, that was her actual birthday. Was January 30th. Yeah.
Her actual birthday is the 30th. Yeah.
So I took a bunch of pictures then, and that was the last time we were in a place dressed up nice as a family.
And one of my favorite pictures is of the 3 kids with great granny, with their granny. That's, often have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful moment. And then there's the Cincinnati Halls with Granny. And so it's us, our kids, Bridget, Mom, and Amisha, and Ajane.
Yeah,
so we're still missing a little bit of
because Addison wasn't there.
Addison wasn't. He had to work. Yeah.
So it's usually taking photos on Christmas Day is kind of one of those things we do, or I try and do some family portraits. Photos.
Yeah, because what years is 29th? We did a family picture last year.
Yeah, because we're all around, and so it's like, hey, let's get us while we're all here, and everybody dress up a little bit, and let's take some pictures because
it's all the kids, all the grandkids, all the grandparents.
Yeah,
and
you get to sort of see the changes in the family. That's one of my main roles is taking the photographs.
Right. Your job has always been to
the photographer / historian.
Yes, exactly. Take pictures. Well, an interesting thing is, my responsibility in my family is the same. So I have all of the pictures. Even if I haven't taken those pictures, I keep all of those together and I curate them. And whenever anybody says, "Do we have a picture of blah 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 blah?" I'm more than likely can find it. Yeah. And so this year, our family looks different, even from last year. Yeah, and last year looks different, even from the year before that.
Yeah. Families are constantly evolving. Things.
We get married, we have kids. Those kids get born, and all of that. Yeah,
the system's constantly in flux. It's always changing.
Yeah. I would love to take another picture this year.
There was a talk amongst I remember you guys were talking about everybody dressing up same. Oh
my gosh, we
put PJs and taking
wanted
a big
to
picture.
Wear the same.
You were so excited. Didn't quite make it happen. But
Here's
so
the
excited.
problem with that: all the pajama makers, right? They're like, everybody is a large or a medium or a small.
No XLs.
No XLs. And we need all the XLs. 2, 3, 4, 5. We need all the XLs. We like pajamas just like everybody else does. Why can't we get them?
So you gotta find big and tall pajamas.
You have to find big and tall pajamas because for multiple reasons. First of all, I need them to fit. And second of all,
walked you right over to Husky.
Listen, call it what you want, but I need them to fit and I need them to be extra comfortable. And everybody isn't a 2 and a 4 and a 6. Okay.
That's one of the problems with shopping online, right? Like it's just hard to find the sizes that'll fit.
Well, and it's funny because the Johnsons, they do the same thing where they wear the same pajamas and stuff. And they said you got to shop early. And so we kind of waited until December, which
to have the idea.
Yeah. I mean, we had talked about it before. Bridget had brought it up last year and I was like, matching pajamas? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everybody is on board except Richie Vaughn, who is like,
I was willing to do it.
I mean, you'll do it, but
I'm not excited.
Begrudgingly. Yeah.
I have a thing against dressing. My mother used to dress us up the same. Like, so me and Addison, she'd dress us in alternating. I would wear blue and Addison would wear red. And Bridget would wear something frilly. And I just, didn't like having to dress like another person.
It's funny because Bridget used to hate that too. Like, this is mush.
So I am scarred by my childhood of being forced to dress the same as another person. So I just, my own individuality, even though I dress if someone else wants to wear a sport coat,
the same stuff.
I won't be mad, but I'm going to wear what I'm going to wear.
Yeah. So guys, when it's like, oh, you want to wear the same stuff as me and we can coordinate? No, that's not what we do. No.
You be you, I be me.
Right. Well, I mean,
I understand the value of a good uniform. Believe me, but
you do. But
also, I don't want to dress like anybody else.
Yeah. And I respect that. I mean, it's kind of like the infamous Common line where he says, "I won't match your outfit, but I'll match your effort."
Oh, look at that! Okay, that's so deep. That's so deep.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I get that.
Mr. Lonnie Lynn with his gems.
Yeah. I get it. It's fine.
It's also my alpha energy.
It is your alpha energy, and I respect that. You know?
I don't give in on everything.
No, you do not. You will not wear what I wear. And sometimes we'll get dressed and we'll be wearing something that looks really matchy, and he'll be like, "Wait a minute, I got dressed first."
So you trying to coordinate with me? What's that about?
And I'm not. I'm just gonna wear what fits and looks good.
I'm wearing gray now. You wearing gray?
So we both wearing gray?
Wow.
You something else.
You are something else. It's not really that big a deal, but
it's not. I mean, we're joking about it, but it's always funny.
I never just change clothes because I don't want to look like her.
No, it's just.
If it just so happens, that's fine. But we're never like talking to each other like, so we're gonna wear gray. We're gonna be killing them.
You killing them, son.
Gray
you
and
gonna
black.
wear your polo? I'm gonna wear my polo.
Yeah, we're not that. No. Also, we grew up in the age of people. They wear the same shirts and go to Kings Island together.
Go to Kings Island. Yeah.
You get matching polo shirts from Chess King and then go to Kings Island and rock, and everybody know you were together.
Chess King, Jay Riggins, Nautica. If you were ever, a teenager in the 90s and the 2000s,
that's what you did.
That's what you did. That's what you did.
One of the benefits of growing up in the 90s is as I've gained my COVID-19 weight, because I grew up in the 90s, all my clothes fit baggy. So now I can still wear a lot of my clothes from the 90s. I have quite a few things
from the 90s. Say this.
And my current clothes always being a little bit larger than my frame means that I have not outgrown too many of my clothes.
Let me say this.
During this COVID time.
Richie Vaughn, and we've been together a long time. You have a lot of clothes. And they have always been oversized.
Slightly.
Slightly?
They're not oversized anymore. That yeah,
sir, you're
I gotta 40. I gotta get this under control.
I agree. We I think if I went through my closet right now and I said everything that I can't fit, I'm gonna put and donate, then I'd be in trouble. So I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, so everything that Richie has, he's got a ton of sweaters, a ton of button downs, all of these things that if they're oversized, they still look good if you wear them. He's got these sport coats, and yes, they do have the elbows.
Quite a few. Not all of them have elbow patches, but
there are some
quite a few of them have elbow patches.
Yeah. But he's very into the suit coats and things like that.
I dress professorial.
You do. And I love it. So
you'd have to, otherwise it would kill your nerves.
Yeah, totally.
That's the way I dress.
But you have all of these clothes now, and there are very few things that you're like, I have to donate this. Whereas I'm like, I need it to fit. And now I'm like, COVID 40. I don't know. I'm not going to say that.
It's egregious.
It's
egregious.
No
need to talk numbers.
We don't need
Just
to
know
talk.
that in 2021, we are making some changes. We're turning over some new leaves.
Insubordinates. Okay.
This low level of activity and staying within a 15 foot radius.
I'm surviving a pandemic. Let me just say this. I'm surviving a pandemic with you. Right?
Yeah.
Our 3 children. My mommy. 2 cats.
And a dog.
We
bought a dog last week. We forgot to say. That
dog.
was one of the reasons there wasn't a Ritch Nicole episode last week, because we went and bought a dog last week.
So Richie has been looking at this dog on the Humane Society website, and what he is described as, I want a dog that looks like a dog. He doesn't want one of those fluffy, frilly,
God, no.
small, yappy kind of. No. So what do we get? An American Pit Bull
Terrier.
And
he's huge.
He's huge, and he's got big paws.
And he's smart.
He's super smart.
A little too smart sometimes.
He doesn't know that he's big, so he wants to sit in your lap, and he wants to
roll around in your bed.
Roll
and
around
You're
in your
like, hey,
bed.
man, get down.
Listen, it's like,
and it's like, hey, stop biting.
Listen, he's not one of those. He's one of those dogs where you're like, hey, bruh.
Watch yourself.
Get your 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he fake bites you, he might really hurt you.
Yeah. He nipped me on the arm playing around, and I was like, he ain't never doing that again.
Right. You have to pop him, and it's dogs are different than cats. We've been dealing with cats forever. He doesn't like for you to be disappointed in him. He just plays, and he's a puppy. He's 10 months old.
Yeah.
And so he's this big dude in our house now.
Yeah. This big, muscly toddler.
He's
bumping around.
Adorable.
Durfing his way around our house, sliding around on our linoleum.
Yep.
Tearing up any kind of fabric-y thing he can get his teeth on.
He really loves pillows and little doll babies and things like that. But
Yeah.
So,
get a dog, they said.
It'll be fun.
They said. What they don't tell you is you'll be scooping poop out of your backyard every day for the rest of your life.
He's going to ruin your grass.
It's going to ruin your grass. You got to take a thing for walks, which is part of the reason we got him, because it's like, oh, that means I have to get out the house.
He will
to get this thing, so that I'm not cleaning up after a thing every day.
Let's talk about the walking, though. You bought this $25 leash.
Oh, about a really cool leash that had a light on it, and it was retractable.
And so I take the dog out, and I've got my oldest son, Ra, who's 10, and then I've got my nieces who are
twins.
4-year-old twins. And I'm like, we're going to go for a walk. Three kids, I can handle this, right? I normally have 5, right?
I'm working. I'm with clients.
You're upstairs with us, and he keeps pulling back and biting on this leash and is able to bite the leash off.
And bites right through the leash.
And commences to running around the neighborhood. And every time I got closer to him, he would do the
duck down and play
and shake,
wiggle. Yeah.
And I'm gone.
And then run away.
And I'm gone.
He was having a great time. He was having the best time.
He was living the best life. So I had to have Rod take the twins back into the house. And, he chased them down. And luckily there's this neighbor who was going to his car, and he's smelling the neighbor. He's being really friendly. He's not aggressive in that way. And I said, hey, he bit his leash off. He's like, oh yeah, let me catch him for you. And grabs him by his harness. And I'm like, letting him have it all the way back to the house.
Walking him back to the house, letting him have it the whole time. Yeah.
I don't chase dogs. Yeah. What you think you doing? I feed you. Yeah.
So I got a better heavy duty rope harness.
We need
coming
it
because he needs something thick that he
I'm
can't
not
just bite
walking
through with a couple
him
of bites
until he has it. Listen, okay,
because he likes to chew on nylon. He, like I said, he likes fabricy things, which is going to be a disaster for the
and
house.
I think he's like teething because he's a puppy, so he likes to chew through stuff. Yeah.
And he keeps trying to punk my kids, which I don't like, because they keep getting punked by him because he's so big.
And they're like, oh my God.
And it's like, no, you better punk that dog back. Like, don't let a dog
This is your dog. You feed him. You take care of him.
Feed scare you.
Yeah.
Just let that dog know you're the boss, because he never does it to me because he knows. The minute I get loud with him, he immediately goes quiet and like, oh, I'm sorry.
There's
dude.
There's this moment where the dog is like punking Daniel, and he's like jumping up on him, and Daniel's like kind of screaming and stuff, and Richie walks out into the yard, and the dog immediately heals like, oh no,
sits like, hey, the guy with the treats.
I wasn't, wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I'm sorry. And I'm on the deck like, that's great.
But don't be punking my son. Ain't no dog gonna punk my son.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and my son needs to learn to stand up for himself with his dog. He's working on it. They're working on it. But.
He is. And, you know, that's the funny thing about Daniel, because he's like, I'm not playing with you, dog, you know, and it's like, you got to have that same energy in your whole body.
Yeah. You gotta
there is a big difference in saying something and really fully meaning it.
Yeah, you got to communicate it with your whole demeanor.
You do, because they sense all of that.
Yeah, because I'm a very laid back person most of the time. Like, I try not to give off a very.
But you don't play with T'Challa, though.
No.
Our dog's name is T'Challa Bomani Hall. Yeah.
And the Humane Society had named him Clark Kent, which, you know, that meant he was pretty much my dog. Like, when it's 1 in the morning, I'm
you saw that, you're like, this is totally
so they got
my
a dog
dog
named Clark Kent, so I guess that's my dog. That she's just waiting on me to come pick him up.
And he's just beautiful.
Yeah, and he's a cute little pup.
He's a cute little pup, all black with the little white
in the show notes.
Yeah.
So that you could see him.
Yeah.
But that's the newest addition to the Hall family.
He's beautiful.
And I had been reluctant to get a dog. I mean, I love having him, but I knew in my head, like, a dog is a responsibility. So I was totally thinking of it like a dad. It's kind of funny how, you know, if you had told, you know, 20-year-old me or 15-year-old me, hey, you want a dog? Absolutely.
Sure.
Yes, I want a dog. I'll totally take care of it. I'll totally feed it every day.
The 42-year-old you
43-year-old me was like, oh, God, but I mean, that means like anytime I go out of town, I got to make sure this dog has someplace to go. Like, I got to feed it every day. I got to make sure that it poops and get that poop out of my yard every day.
If he tears something up in the house.
I got to deal with that. There's now a dog barking every time we put him in the cage. Like, every time he tears something up, we put him in the cage. He barks for 10 minutes just to see if we'll let him out. Then he resigns himself to his fate. But that 10 minutes is like,
takes a snap. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We have a dog now, and I love the guy, and he's got a lot of training
love him
to
a
get.
Lot.
Yeah, he needs a lot of training, but it's going to work out.
Every time he comes in here, you're like, hey, buddy. Hey. And he's always, like, his little tail wags. Yeah. He's always so excited, you know.
So excited to see people.
He's a beautiful dog.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. It's a lot for me to adjust. It gave me a bit of anxiety, I will say, just because it is another
responsibility.
You know.
Yeah.
But
he'd like be wandering around the house. Like, he has a kind of an agenda.
He does.
I'm used to that. Like, as I got kids now, and it's like, oh, you just be having thoughts and directions you want to go in.
Well, it's a whole nother being, just like smelling stuff, and he likes to eat things that are not edible.
Yeah, he likes to just chew on things.
You just gonna eat plastic and swallow it. We're not going to urgent care with you. We're gonna tell you like we told the other kids. We're not doing this with you.
Yeah, and it's only the first week, so it's like we have to shut doors so he doesn't go in certain rooms. Because we haven't dog-proofed the place.
Cat poop. It's
been a while since we've had to think in terms of proofing the place for creatures.
Because you have to get down on his level and see all this stuff.
He can get a hold of it. But he doesn't go up on counters, really. He tried to go up on the table once, but I mean, some of that's just testing the space. And so I've checked him on that. But he doesn't like there's been a plate of bacon that I burnt.
He doesn't jump to get that.
He does not jump to get it.
He waits for you to give it to him.
Yeah. He waits for treats. He doesn't jump up there and get his own treats.
Here's the other beautiful thing. We bought puppy pads.
Yeah.
We don't have, knock on wood, we haven't had to use them. As long as we let him out to the backyard, he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's great because he's, you know, he had 1 or 2 accidents in the living room those first 2 days. Yeah. But other than that,
he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
New addition to the family, T'Challa. Changing the whole game. So we're going to circle back around to Christmas stuff and talk about, you know, what you can do for the holidays. So one of the things we already did, we did a cookie decoration with the kids.
Oh yeah,
they really liked that.
They did the
we did gingerbread
houses. Yeah. And
that's a really cool activity that you can do with kids during COVID. You're already in the house. Just buy a bunch. My mom just bought a bunch of candy at the dollar store.
She just bought a bunch of candy,
and she brought the gingerbread kits from somewhere. And then we just literally let them pile candy on. They didn't quite understand why they couldn't eat the houses.
That's always the biggest thing because I don't have a good answer for why you can't eat your gingerbread house.
It's for aesthetics mostly.
Well, that's what I said. It's like these are for.
And they got to eat all the candy while they were making it. Like they were totally eating it while making the houses.
But let me tell you what, Ra's house is dwindling.
Is he eating some of it?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Every time he walks past, he's taking off
taking off gumdrops and just
exactly.
Nom.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna get. It
Exactly.
gets groggy after sitting there for a week.
Yeah.
Making gingerbread houses, making s'mores. You can do kind of outdoor activities. So we did s'mores with the kids last week.
Honestly, s'mores is like something that we do a lot because the kids love it so much. We did it for Halloween.
We do it a lot during the summer because of bonfires, and we do a lot of outdoor parties during the summer. So
and then we figured out how to microwave them too. So if we can't go outside and the kids absolutely want them,
Hot cocoa. My kids are in love with cocoa.
Daddy's cocoa.
Yeah, because I'm learning how to add stuff. Like you can add coffee creamer to cocoa, and it gives a little bit of a creamier flavor. I add cinnamon to my cocoa now, maybe some nutmeg sometimes.
You know what they
Dash
like?
of vanilla. What?
The Ready Whip.
They like adding Ready Whip to their cocoa.
That's really what they eat.
My kids have no impulse control, so we buy marshmallows for the cocoa, but they're eating the marshmallows in between cocoa settings, and you're like, hey, those are for cocoa that you're going to ask me for within the next 24 hours.
Later, and then
once you go outside and come back in and want cocoa, they're going to be like, why are there no marshmallows? You ate all the marshmallows.
Ate all the marshmallows.
I told you to save those marshmallows for the cocoa, and now you're just eating marshmallows randomly.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Making a lot of cocoa. Holiday movie nights. There's a lot of you can watch movies now on streaming services as a group, so you don't have to be in the same place.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You can do a family watch of a Netflix Christmas movie. I hear
Jingle
Jangle is a really good film. We really enjoyed it.
We really enjoyed it. It's
really good music in there,
film.
produced by John Legend.
Absolutely,
so
it was
songs
great.
written by John Legend, starring the lovely Aniki Noni Rose, as well as Forrest Whitaker.
The lovely Aniki.
The lovely. She's a lovely talent. I'm a fan.
You're a fan.
I'm just saying hello.
You're just saying. She can't hear you say hi.
But I just wanted to know there are people out there who enjoy her talent, who've always been appreciative of her all the way back to Dreamgirls and followed her career.
I love Anika Noni Rose.
Yeah.
She's forever. She's my forever Tiana.
Yeah. Tiana's also getting a television show or some 6 15-minute shorts coming out.
Is that a part of the Disney Bomb?
That was part of the Disney Bomb. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
if you guys have not checked out the episode of the Disney Bomb, Richie and his other sort of
my friends Terry
guy
and
friends,
Addison,
Terry,
my
brother Addison and Lamorris.
We chat up the Disney information. That was the last episode.
They dropped all of these trailers and
Disney's investor meeting dropped all this information about what was going to be on the Disney slate for Disney Plus for the next 3 to 4 years.
And of course we're subscribed to Disney Plus.
It's an overwhelming amount of information.
Take our money, okay?
Yeah, because we have kids and there's a lot on there for kids.
And I was watching Marvel movies every night for...
Yeah, she had been.
Yeah.
And now she just has a way to get to them much more cleanly. Yep. And every now and again we'd find we don't own Iron Man 1 on digital on Amazon
and it's
Prime. How did we not buy that one? But because the Marvel span was so long that we went from DVDs to streaming.
Yep.
And just didn't repurchase.
And there were these weird pockets of
movies we don't own.
Yeah.
But Disney Plus allows us to watch them whenever we want. All
of them,
as of right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. There's going to be a lot of Disney Plus stuff coming out. I was running into the room as this news was dropping, and she was like, "Stop watching it." And I'm like, "How do you know me?"
Breathe in and breathe out.
There's so much news.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. There's so much news.
Sir, calm down.
And she's like, "Calm down. Just turn it off." I was like, "Why would I do that? Why would I do that?" I wouldn't know the news.
Otherwise.
How am I supposed to know the news if I turn it off?
So, y'all, I didn't watch the same drops that he did. And so now
I was watching them live.
Every so often I'll see I saw WandaVision and I'm like, oh, she's going to have her own show. Yeah.
Yeah. I told you about that when I told you about the news.
Right.
Disney dropped way too much news.
I didn't absorb all of that when you told me.
I was barely absorbing it. But now that I've had days to think about it and done a whole show about it, I now have a lexicon of knowledge about all these different shows. It's an overwhelming amount of shows.
So there is
and news.
There is this beauty of all of this Disney stuff dropping. There's a ton of Netflix and Hulu movies that you can watch. And you can do, they're called watch shows with your family, right?
So you could do like a synchronized viewing.
You could do a synchronized viewing.
I believe Amazon Prime has a way to do that as well.
Yeah, I know that.
Netflix Party.
Yeah.
Or you can, watch over Zoom. You can be on Zoom and watch together.
I was going to say you could do Zoom.
Remember Xbox had a way to do that before where you could watch movies together on Xbox. But I do know that I feel like Amazon Prime has a way to do it. Hulu might. But either way, if you just queue up and you both just say, hey, FaceTime each other and then queue up let's start on the count of three, synchronize.
You can always do the old school way where you're like, I'm going to start this movie. Let's watch it together.
Yeah.
You started, I started.
I know Tony Baker does watch meetings. He has a service that he does.
Yeah.
Tony Baker, the comedian, does movie watching where he has his peeps watch movies with him online. I've thought about doing that with some movies just because if you ever want to watch a movie with me and listen to me ramble about random obscure facts about it, that the experience Nicole gets every day, but and going to the film with us. With me and my friends where we're constantly spouting Marvel facts through a movie. Yeah. But how would you know all this stuff
I
need to make sure you know what's going on here. The 20-year history at play when this character meets that character. There's a lot in the background of this scene that really enhances your knowledge of it. How could you not want to know?
So let me make this suggestion. If you're going to do a watch party, do it with something that maybe you've already seen.
It would probably end up being that,
And then you can watch it with somebody, and then you guys can just have commentary on it.
Yeah.
And so you're not missing the actual movie.
I mean, I can do both.
Okay.
There are games you can play online if you do want to do Zooms with your friends. You can play charades. There's a game called Psych. You can do Kahoot. That's what my kids, I think, have been doing a lot at school.
Daniel loves Kahoot.
You can do trivia with one another. There's a variety of different games that are able to be played digitally. Even going back to Words with Friends. Some of those ways that we've been provided to still connect with each other and maybe compete.
And when you think about Christmas and you think about New Year's and things like that, where you have a lot of interaction with people,
you normally would. This year, you
normally
won't.
would have this physical interaction. There's still a way to digitally interact.
And a lot of times, I know some families would meet up, and some of their Christmas activity might be, a game of chess after, or
cards,
a football game, or cards, or spades.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to do that online.
Yep.
We did a gift exchange through my job. We did a white elephant where you open the gift, you show them what it is, and then people steal from each other. And that worked out. We were at it for almost 2 hours because we get a little down and dirty during our things, but it could be a fun. You could still do a white elephant exchange
way to
online.
Do that.
It's just not as we used to be. You didn't know whose gift, what the gift was until you opened it.
Right.
But now it's just the person opens their gift, they show it to you, and then they kind of try to decide who has what gift,
steal it,
and
if
who wants
they're going to pass
steal
it,
what gift, and it worked out.
Cool.
We actually pulled it off, and I was actually very surprised myself. So gift exchanges still can happen. You just got to mail it to people or coordinate an exchange.
Right.
Doing Christmas crafting, as I said before, making Christmas cookies, making wreaths, doing paint. You could do paint and sip still virtually.
Yeah.
Getting together a list of materials that you email to people and say, hey, go to this store, pick this up, or order these things online.
And a lot of the paint and sip places, we have a couple of places here within the city that they'll say, here is the picture that you'll paint, and here are the items that you need for it. You can get the kits from us, or here's what you need for that kit,
Yeah.
And so you could still do that.
Right. So doing those kind of crafts together virtually could be fun.
It's pretty fun.
And a way to connect, and a way to sort of still feel like you're spending time with people. I think it's just a matter of you got to be non-traditional this year, because it's just not your typical year at all.
It's not.
And there's nothing that can be done about that. We just got to work around.
Well, and you want to still be safe, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the thing. One of the things that your family did, which I thought was great, was just this big old Zoom party, and we all kind of talked and chatted. We did, and at the end, Victoria had her sort of performance.
Victoria sung Let It Go.
Let It Go. Yeah.
From Frozen. Yeah. And it was the quietest Victoria has ever sung in her entire life. Suddenly she's singing like
super
Mousely.
Loud, but it's like, so you're going to whisper now?
Yeah.
You're going to whisper?
And suddenly you're self-conscious. But when it's around the house, you can't stop that girl from singing with the full lung performance.
But it was great to have everybody kind of in one place. You know, hanging out.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, a Zoom party.
Yes. If you do have to get together, you know, remember hand sanitizer, remember paper towels, using only single-use items, as we talked about during the Thanksgiving episode. So disposable tableware, disposable forks, spoons, making sure everybody has face masks. It's going to be key. Skipping, you know, I know it's the season, you want to hug people, but skipping handshakes and hugs this year might be the way to go. You don't want to get into anybody's space. Make sure you're social distancing. Limit surfaces that you touch, making sure you're wiping things down, sanitizing, making sure people aren't sharing special personal items. No dips this year. No special dips and chips this year. Try and keep everything as packaged and centralized as you can. And making sure that you're washing everything after the meal or after the events. Just thinking more about like food safety and personal space this year. If you do choose to get together, try and keep it limited to smaller gatherings. Only a few people. They say not over like 10 people.
Yeah.
And that's largely just because, you know, if one person gets sick, you can limit the number of people who get sick. Because even though
people out.
Yeah. Some people are getting, vaccines, but not everybody's able to get that right now.
Right.
And even with the vaccine doesn't make you got to get 2 of those shots for some of them. And for the current vaccine, you still have to get 2 shots. So you're still not even
honestly,
fully inoculated.
You just don't want to get other people sick.
Yes.
Right.
Because it's highly contagious. People are getting sick.
It's highly contagious.
Very fast. I saw there were up to 50 people who might have been infected by a mall Santa.
Oh.
And I was thinking, why are people still going to mall Santas?
There's a mall Santa, like.
Why though? So
we're all just going to sit on this lap and just pass the COVID along.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, just being thoughtful, as we've said time and time again, about how you're spending your time, about what you're doing to keep yourself safe, about who you're exposing yourself to, and, what you're doing and how you're doing it can help you get through this time. I don't want to make anybody anxious. I don't want to make anybody overwhelmed, but we can get through this, get to the other side of 2020.
If we're cautious,
if you're cautious and thoughtful and really sort of asking yourself, what's necessary, what's not necessary, and how can we do this in a safe and responsible way?
Right. And it's something that, if we do it now, then we'll have the freedom later to
get together.
Yeah.
And we used to throw epic New Year's parties.
Oh my God.
And this is one of the first times that we won't be having any real New Year's event at all.
We will not.
The parties had dwindled down to just like family and friends in the past few years.
Yeah.
Just because of having so many kids and having people with kids. We started doing kid friendly parties.
Yeah. But there were a couple of years there where people weren't leaving until dawn. And
yeah. Or you just spend the night because
you're out on the
porch. Right. So many different things that were happening for New Year's. So we're going to miss our epic New Year's events.
We are.
But you can still Zoom New Year's. You can have a New Year's.
Well, I mean,
Zoom.
just like
we should
asking
do a New Year's Zoom.
We'll probably do a New Year's.
Do a New Year's Zoom.
We'll do a New Year's Zoom.
Yeah.
And then have everybody together. I mean, it's
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. We'll get all our friends together. And, I already have my cousin's going to call me on Christmas and we'll have a chat then. And I know you have your chats on Christmas too. So yeah.
Yeah. We'll do something like that. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're, with all of the things that we're saying here, we're adhering to those kind of restrictions as well, just to be safe.
Even though I know not everybody's doing that, there's so many people out there risking their luck, and kudos to you. I'm not trying to shame you, but hey, do what you gotta.
Yeah.
And you
but as for us, we're gonna
fate so often. For me and my house,
this is what we're gonna do.
We're gonna keep it limited.
Yeah.
And there might be information about a New Year's Zoom party. The Hall Space New Year's Zoom extravaganza. Anyway. We'll let you know. You'll see it. You'll see it on the page if we do decide to do
we'll post something
New Year's
about New
Year's Eve party.
Absolutely.
At least something, the 30 minutes before the ball drops or something.
Yeah.
Just so that we can all be together virtually.
Connected, huh?
Connected.
Yeah.
It's about connections.
It's about connections.
Yes. So this is one of the last episodes of the year. There may be a bonus episode because I want to get on with my friends and talk about The Mandalorian. So if I can pull that off, that may be an episode along with this, but this is technically our end of the year episode. So we'd like to thank all of you who rocked with us.
Thank you for joining
listened to us for all these hours. Since July, we've been doing the Hall Space podcast. We're so happy. It's been a great time.
It's been awesome. We've enjoyed every second. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've enjoyed all the calls and emails and correspondence from
listeners,
people. All the support has been fun.
We love every second of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And all the support. And we hope to get more support.
We hope to get more support in the new year as we go into season 2.
We have some new exciting things for the next season.
Yes. I figured out how to do video.
Yeah.
So we're going to do some video reactions and things like that.
Yep. So we'll be able to commentate on things. And
commentate on some things. There'll be some things on the YouTube. Some of those things might come out early because I'm still testing. So I may drop some things just to see what it's like to put it out in the world.
Sort of drafts.
Yeah. But
why not?
There'll be quite a few things springing out of the Hall Space podcast.
Yeah. So we hope you continue to join us and support us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've appreciated sharing this little slice of our life with you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for spending time with us.
So thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Enjoy.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy
Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
All of the different events. And, if you don't celebrate anything, God bless you too. Right?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily God bless you if you don't celebrate. May you be blessed. May the universe bless you. I don't know.
Right. What do you say?
Hey,
have a great.
May you always be favored.
Yeah. So,
by whatever you believe.
Right. You know what the music means.
Our time is up. Yeah. I'm supposed to be the one to say that.
I say good day, sir.
I say good day. The Hall Space Podcast is brought to you by Hall Productions, LLC. Show notes and credits can be found at our webpage, thehallspacepodcast.wordpress.com. Any questions, comments, or concerns can be sent to us at thehallspacepodcast@gmail.com. The show is written by Daggerpin Davis. Music is curated by DJ Cabal. The show is produced by Chuck Jones and recorded at Slash and Trash Studios. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you all have a good week. House Hall. House Hall. We rise brilliantly.